Browns wrapping up their preparations for the Buccaneers. FirstEnergy Stadium, 1 o'clock. The two teams will face off. Mary Kay, Greg Newsome will not be out there. He is out with a concussion. On the other side, Vita Vea, questionable with a foot injury. Leonard Fournette, doubtful with a hip injury. A little surprised Newsome's not playing. I know you talked to him earlier this week.
Well, I did talk to him on Tuesday, and he was very hopeful that he might be able to get back. But he also recognized at that time there's a new concussion protocol. It's harder to get out of it. And obviously, he's missing his second straight game. Now, the significance of that is obviously they're going up against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Tom Brady, of course, and Julio Jones. So you want all the good bodies that you can get back there in the back end, and they will not have him. It means that Martin Emerson will start his 5th game this season.
Yeah, and Ashley, you got to get into your depth now a little bit. And, even a guy like Julio, who isn't the Julio of like 5 years ago, he's still effective. And we saw it in Germany. He's still got a little something to him.
Yeah, I think we saw it from all those guys. Plus, Tom Brady, this might not be the best year of Tom Brady's career, but he's still Tom Brady. He's still a guy who's going to be able to dissect a defense. I think especially this defense and their issues currently. So it definitely hurts not to have one of your starting corners, even though Martin Emerson has played really well. Like Mary Kay said, it's just you're losing some depth there. I think that's going to be really key against these receivers and a quarterback who are like pure vets in this league and are going to know how to pick you apart.
But of course, Mary Kay, we will be watching Vita Vea closely because he's really kind of that key to the Tampa pass rush.
Absolutely. And the Browns, they did find out today that Hjalte Froholt will play in this game. He will start at center. So that's good for them because at least he did it all last week and they won't be trying to work a new guy in. But it does matter a lot if Vita is going to play this game. He is questionable with that foot injury, but he is a load. He is an absolute load. As Kevin Stefanski today observed, it probably takes 2 guys to block him. You really just don't want to have to be thinking about that when you're trying not to drop the snap.
And yeah, when you're Hjalte Froholt and you're basically starting your first game at center for the Browns this week.
Yeah, and especially I was rewatching that Bucs-Seahawks game from 2 weeks ago before their bye, and the Seahawks were doubling Vita Vea right away. I mean, I think that tells you how good of a year he's having, what's necessary to stop him. And we talked to Hjalte Froholt today, and he said you have to respect a guy like that and be ready for him regardless of if he was going to be at center or somebody else. But it was interesting because Hjalte, of course, has missed practice some this week. He was ill the last couple of days, returned today. So he said he feels like he got enough extra work in with Jacoby Brissett over the last couple of days to be comfortable out there on Sunday.
Now, as we do every Friday, we heard from Myles Garrett today and Mary Kay. Of course, he's excited to face Tom Brady, but also he kind of, I guess, sort of doubled down on the idea that this team has to create turnovers.
Well, they definitely do. I mean, they have the 3rd fewest in the NFL with only 8. They only have 3 interceptions this whole season. It's kind of remarkable and hard to believe. Of course, Myles plans on doing his part to try to get his hands up, to swat some balls down, to get back there, to try to sack Tom Brady again. He's got 1 sack on him, and to try to dig that ball out of there or force him into interception. So he plans to do his part.
Yeah, and Ashley, the point he kind of made is every defense makes mistakes and has issues, but the ones that force turnovers, those turnovers mask those issues because they end drives.
Yeah, and I think he took some issue with this analytical thought that maybe turnovers have a big part of luck involved, and he said that was cap, to use Myles Garrett's direct quotes, and that it's called turnovers for a reason. You have to take the ball away, and I know we've heard him in the past talk about these takeaways come in bunches, so I mean, I think this is just kind of a typical Myles response to something that he's going to release, that he called it a public service announcement today. And I think we've seen that from him in the past, so it's understandable we got one again over this last week or so in regards to takeaways.
Well, that loud train in the background, that's what Myles Garrett hopes it sounds like when he's going after Tom Brady on Sunday at FirstEnergy Stadium. We'll cover it all at cleveland.com/Browns.